Welcome to Boulder City City Council. Appreciate everybody being here and those who are tuning in. Call the meeting to order. Madam City Clerk, roll call and posting, please.
Thank you. The agenda was posted in accordance with Nevada open meeting law, and all members are present.
Thank you. We will start with an invocation by Elder Mark Wells from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, after which we'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Elder Wells, please.
Our kind and gracious, eternal Heavenly Father, we give Thee thanks this evening for this opportunity we have to attend this City Council meeting. We're grateful for our mayor and our City Council individuals and for the Boulder City administrative staff for their dedication, integrity, and hard work on our behalf. We give Thee thanks for our freedoms we enjoy in this country, especially the right to express ourselves in voice and in religious celebration. We're grateful for the other freedoms we enjoy and grateful for our military and pray for them wherever they may be. We give Thee thanks again for the opportunity we have to live in this city and to enjoy the comfort and the blessings afforded to us. We're mindful of many throughout this community and throughout our nation that are struggling and in need of temporal and emotional and physical or spiritual blessings at this time. We pray for them. We again give Thee thanks for what we have and offer this invocation humbly and in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elder Wells. You can remain with us then. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Do we have any public announcements, Madam City Clerk? We'll open the meeting for public comment at this time. Those of you who are in the chambers, welcome to come forward and speak. And if there's anybody on the phone line, it's 702-589-9629. And while we're waiting for someone to call, if they are going to, if anyone's here in the chambers like to say something, you're more than welcome to at this time.
My name is Robin Baker. I'm a Boulder City resident. And first, I would just like to thank everyone who's up here and everyone who works so hard to keep things moving forward in a positive way. I'm very appreciative of that. I'd like to speak to, I think it's item 21, the historic preservation, selecting a new commissioner. And I just have a few things to say. Number one, I'm hoping that you choose a commissioner who advocates for historic preservation. Someone who actually, and it's nothing against anyone who's already been on the commission. I think it's a very difficult position to be in. But I would like to have someone who advocates for the historic district and actually challenges the status quo. We don't know how many houses are contributing at this time because we don't collect data. So how can we move forward and move toward where we have a sense of place that actually we know we're enhancing the historic district rather than diminishing it? I know that the individuals who are on the commission are dedicated and they give their time freely, and that I appreciate it very much. On the other hand, I have very high expectations, not only for the historic district, but for the city, because it's my home. And I want it to thrive. I want it to be better. And so I'm trying not to ask for too much, but for those people that I speak with regularly, they know that I have very high expectations. And so I will continue to try to be a voice. But I do appreciate the amount of time and energy you put into it, and hope you have a good night tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone on the phone?
State your name and speak your comments, please.
My name is Gregory Kovacevic, and I'm calling in regards to the parking situation going on in Boulder City. I happen to live on a corner, and I've been targeted by the same person that's going around, and I know this because he's using old pictures of my trailer
Sir,
constantly twice
Sir?
this week.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but during the first public comment period, it is limited to matters that are on the agenda.
Oh, well, the video didn't say that.
The second public comment period, you're welcome to call back and speak your comments.
How long will that be?
You would just have to watch the meeting live because there's no time available for when we would get through the items.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Anyone else on 702-589-9629? Go ahead.
Brandon Smith for the record. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Just wanted to throw my 2 cents in for agenda item number 21, your selection of appointments for the HPC committee tonight. I would just like to beg you all to please remember that our current committee isn't yet made up of 50% of historic homeowners here in the district. And I would love for the people of the historic district that own the historic district and live in the historic district are fairly represented by that committee. So I would, again, politely beg you guys to consider that when you're making your selections for tonight. It only makes sense for that committee to be fairly represented by people actually in the historic district. Thank you so much for all you guys do, and hope you had a good holiday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Seven oh two 589-9629 is the number to call in if you have something that you would like to add on public comment, the initial public comments. And if there's anyone here in the chambers who would like to come forward at this time, they would be welcome. Anyone on 702-589-9629? Seeing no one on the phone line, no one here in chambers, we will close public comment and move to items for action on the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the regular agenda first?
Mayor, staff is requesting that item number 13 be removed from the regular agenda. We didn't have an audit review committee meeting prior the council meeting, so there's no recommendation at this time.
Okay, we will remove 13 from the regular agenda, and then I'll still take a motion to approve the regular agenda with removal of item 13.
I move to approve the regular agenda.
Is there a second?
A second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, it's unanimous. And then the consent agenda, do I have a motion to approve the second agenda, the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, that's approved. We'll move to the regular agenda now, and we'll have a presentation under number 11. And our finance director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Cynthia Sneed, your Finance Director, and I'm very happy to be here tonight and give you an update on the Finance Department. It's our annual update. Okay, finance divisions include a significant number of years of public and governmental service, and we're very proud of that. And our 5 divisions in the department are accounting, budget, purchasing, grants, risk management, and contracts, real estate, and utility billing. That's the same as it has been for a long time. That hasn't really changed. Okay, so a little bit more about accounting. That includes accounts receivable, where we bill out particularly for airport leases and the land leases out in the valley. We've got about 230 accounts that we maintain with that. Accounts payables, where we pay our bills from vendors, invoicing, and employee reimbursement, expense reimbursements. And that totals about almost 8,500 invoices every year that we're processing. So it's a lot. In general accounting, we reconcile and maintain over 8,000 general ledger accounts. And that includes financial reporting. We have 20 standard reports that we put out, and I know you're familiar with many of those. Right, in specific in accounting, we've got payroll, and we pay about 320 employees every biweekly. That varies a little bit because we have a lot of part-time seasonal employees, so it kind of goes up and down. We process all the W-2s for all the employees, all of the related payments and reporting that goes along with processing payroll. The budget division. Budget develops both the operating budget and the capital improvement plan. They monitor the budget, both of those budgets throughout the year, and provide some research and analysis. Largely, I say, Angela, I need you to look at this, and there it is. They also do the 5-year capital improvement plan, which you'll hear from Angela in a little bit for the upcoming 5-year plan. And we are responsible for monitoring and complying with the regulations, for state and federal regulations. Okay, a little bit more about the budget. Last year we prepared the award-winning annual city budget. That's the same award that we've been receiving for the last many years. We're very proud of that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. They prepared last year's CIP, and we improved our budget process last year. We're looking for continuous improvement. Last year we had a little bit different process where we presented the draft budget to the directors and said, help us to reduce, because we knew we needed to come up with an operating budget. That's part of your mandate, and we needed help from all the department directors to get there, and we did that, and so very proud of that. The purchasing division. Let me go back for a second. Angela, you all know Angela, but Angela's our budget manager, okay? And Paul is our purchasing division head, and it includes so much more than just purchasing. He works on expense contracts and risk management and insurance claims and grants and grant coordination. So he definitely gets the prize for the most hats to wear in the department. So a little more detail about his workload. He completed 25 formal solicitations, RFPs, which saved the city $2.6 million. The purpose of that is to get the best, not only the lowest price, but the best product for the price for the city, what's in the best interest of the city. 266 contracts that he wrote and administered and negotiated along with the city attorney on most of those. Completed 17 claims and 9 subrogation actions where we were able to recover money from different claims against the city. And managed 19 different grant programs valued at $17 million. I want to go into a little more detail about that. Most of that, well, about half of it, over $9 million, is specific to the airport and FAA grants for a lot of the capital projects that are going on out there. And it's historic preservation grants, CDBG, for lend a hand and emergency aid, Clark County emergency operations, our dark skies retrofitting with the streetlights. We've got some police grants. Joining forces was about $50,000, and Water Smart grant, which is about water meters replacing with radio reads, which makes it more accurate and more efficient for our meter readers to be out there. And another infrastructure upgrade for the wastewater treatment plant. So here we go. Lots of grant activity on top of everything else that comes out of the purchasing division. Contracts and real estate, that's Brock. Back. He works with land sales, land leases, research and analysis, and he's my special projects guy. And he does all those beautiful brochures that you see with all the financial data, bringing it down to a more attractive document. So some special things that he has done this year. Prepared an enhanced and expanded online budget summary. So that's one of those beautiful publications that we see, the budget and summary. He really beefed that one up, so it's a lot nicer. Not that it wasn't nice before, Brock. And he assists me with the financial forecasts and the other transparency improvements. The software that we use to produce the budget book went through a major upgrade, and he was part of that. He was part of the beta testing to get that up and going, and so we'll greatly benefit from that. It'll be a much more attractive document in the future. Okay, utility billing. Is Brady here? I didn't see Brady. No, well, you know Brady. His group provides all the utility billing, so that's reading the meters, generating the bills, sending the bills out, collecting the payments. They also do the business licensing for the city. And this graph is really just to show that how stable our utility accounts have been year over year. Not much has changed, but that's not surprising given the growth control situation that we're in. Things are pretty constant there, pretty consistent. And then for our financial reports, I had hoped to be able to bring to you the fiscal year 25 report, but we're not quite there yet. So we prepare that annual document that goes through the audit, and that was independently audited. And for fiscal year 24, which you see the cover here, that did win the GFOA award again, and we will be submitting the fiscal year 25 for that same award. So speaking of the GFOA awards, this is the Certificate of Achievement is the one for the financial statements for the ACFR. And we've been awarded that for 33 years, consecutive years. So we're very proud of that. And is Amara here?
How many people get that award?
A lot of people get that individual award. I don't know the number, but it's many, many. Where it's a very small population is when you get all three awards. But this one by itself is the one that's been in existence the longest, and so there's a lot of governments that receive that one.
So do we know anybody that gets all three?
Well, we do. I'm getting there. You beat me to it, Mayor. Yes, and there's only a couple in the state of Nevada that do. For our, again, more GFOA awards, the Budget Award, we received that again for fiscal year 26. They had a real fast turnaround with this one, which was nice. We've already been awarded for the most recent budget document we've done. And this is the newest award that they have, the Popular Annual Financial Report. We call that the PAFR. That's basically a regurgitation of what's in the big financial document, but in only a few pages, and it's got some cute graphics, and it's a lot easier to digest that data. You don't have to be an accounting expert to get to what it's after. We've been producing that for a few years, and we did, in fact, win that one award as well, which does qualify us for the Triple Crown. We're very, very, very pleased to have won that again for all of our reports that we produced last year. And we are submitting them as we prepare them this year, and with the expectation that we'll meet all the criteria to qualify for that again. And this one, to your point, Mayor, is only several hundred governments in the entire nation that are awarded that one. Another award that we're happy to talk about is this time last year, we submitted a proposal or application to the Cashman Good Governance Award, and we did win we're in first place for the small city. They have different categories, and for the small city, we did win that one, which then qualified us to be a finalist for the big overall award. We I guess we were runner-up. We did not get the overall award, but we did win the small city one. That, and the topic of that was the solar, or the land leases, and how that has been, our lifeline, since we don't have the other types of revenues that the other cities do. And we're very pleased that Paul, our mini hat man, was elected chairman of the Pool Pact organization. So we have a strong voice there. He does a great job. And that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments? Okay.
I don't have any questions, just a few comments. It seemed like best practice when you said that you meet with the other offices, the directors of the departments, to find out where best monies can be spent. That seems unusual that a government would do that, being that things tend to be earmarked, but you found a way to save money by working together to see where things can be moved. So that's a big plus. Thank you for sharing that. But thank you also for breaking down the grants. I think it was Councilwoman Jurgensen who asked for that breakdown at your last annual meeting. And it's good to know that the public would know where a lot of our funds come from. So the grants, somebody's doing some kind of grant writing. I imagine that's Paul. And no, who does grants?
That typically comes from the individual departments.
Okay.
He may polish it up, but the meat of it comes from the departments as they identify grant opportunities.
It's a big deal. Either way, grants are hard to get, and we have so many of them, which is good. I do actually have one question on the utility bills, online versus mail-in. What's the equation on those, a percentage, and does it save any money if you go online?
So currently, it's about a 75-25% split. 25 being where we send out an email to the customers, and then they have the opportunity to pay online or do a direct payment, direct debit out of their checking account. So that's 25%. The other 75%, we actually mail a physical bill to. And so those either come back in the mail or might come back in person to pay those.
Okay.
And it definitely is more cost effective for the electronic. If people include the email and then just pay the fee online, it is much more cost effective than the snail mail.
I bet stamps are going up.
Yes, they are. It's about 80 cents, I think.
And congratulations on the Triple Crown Award.
Thank you.
Thank you to you and the staff.
That is all of these guys.
Thank you all, you guys.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Maybe for a point of clarification, if there's anyone listening who would like to receive an electronic bill now, what would the process be for them to be able to do that?
They can contact the utility billing department or division. I don't have their phone number off the top of my head, but yeah.
So contact them and then set that up, and they could also be part of that. And maybe by this time next year, we could have 35%.
Right.
Right?
And there may, I don't want to speak out of line, but there may be an opportunity to make that election through our website. If you navigate to where the utility billing area is, I think you can opt in that way.
Okay, so you can talk to a real person
You can.
if you need to or want to, or you
Yes.
could go online and navigate and try to do it possibly.
I believe
And
so.
we'll check on that so that we know. 221 years experience, and I think that says a lot. And I think it also says a lot about why we are Triple Crown winners. And the things that aren't said a lot of times are the ways that you listen to us when we ask for things and respond as a staff, as a whole staff, and as a budgeting and finance committee or group. We have asked the hard ask of a nearly as close as you can balanced budget for each year, and I know that is stressful at a government level, and I appreciated the respect that you had for us up here, that you could understand how hard it would be for us to vote on something that had a $10 million discrepancy, right? It didn't seem like being wise stewards over the monies that were there. So I want to say, and I'm sure all of the council, thank you for that, for helping us. And the numbers indicate that you did very well. with that budgeting. And I know that that took staff members in other areas too to come to the conclusions, like Councilmember Ashurst said, of how that budget would come together and how they could get their numbers closer and reflect what was going to happen. So thank you to all of you that do what you do for our city to make sure that we stay fiscally responsible and shine even. So thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may just interject in response to Councilmember Jorgensen's question. I was able to look up online pretty quickly. So yes, on our website, as Director Sneed has said, there is a separate page just paying your bill online. It describes the new online bill payment system is now available, and if you scroll down, there's a click to begin here. Oh, yeah, they've got it shown right up there on the screen. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
Will you
so
look
it's
at it?
available.
Look at these people.
Teamwork.
Nice, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, thank you.
Appreciate the report. Thank you. Brings us to number 12 on the agenda. Need a introduction of bill number 2092.
Mayor, I'll introduce Bill 2092 and waive the reading except for title.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bill number 2092, an ordinance of the City of Boulder City, Nevada, amending Boulder City Municipal Code, Title I, Administration, Chapter 10, Emergency Management, Title II, Departments, Chapter 6, Public Works Department, and Chapter 7, Utilities Department, Title 9, Public Ways and Property, Chapter 5, Underground Installations Required, Chapter 8, Water Utility Regulations, Chapter 9, Sewer Utility, Chapter 10, Electric Utility Regulations, and Chapter 14, Boulder City Water Conservation Plan to reassign staff responsibilities. This matter will be considered at the January 27, 2026 council meeting.
Thank you. That brings us to number 13 on the regular business that we have removed, and that brings us to number 14.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm City Manager Ned Thomas. Item number 14 is a public hearing on, there are two parts. There's a public hearing on the collective bargaining agreement for the Teamsters Local 14 Clerical Bargaining Unit, and also a resolution approving that bargaining agreement between the city and Teamsters Local 14 Clerical. Just by way quickly, by way of background, over the past, since July, over the past year, really, the city staff and outside counsel have engaged in good faith negotiations with representatives of the clerical bargaining unit to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement. Their previous agreement expired on June 30th, 2025. The city and the unit and the union have tentatively agreed on a proposal to extend their agreement for 3 years with increases in the city's contribution toward health care insurance and wages. Under NRS 288.153, any new extended or modified bargaining agreement between the local government as employer and the union must be approved by this in a public hearing. That's why we're here tonight, and provide you with a quick report. The total fiscal impact of this agreement would be an increase over the 3 years of 1.421, so a little over $1.145 million. There would be wage increases of approximately $229,000 in the first year, including the medical insurance contributions. In fiscal year 23, they would total up to an increase of just over $384,000 with benefits, and then in fiscal year 28, a little over $532,000. When we come back next week with in 2 weeks with the 5-year financial forecast, we will provide some more additional information so that you can see how all of that fits in with the other unions that we're negotiating with an overall picture of that. But for tonight, we're just here for the clerical bargaining unit, and happy to answer any additional questions you might have.
I just have one. I know there's been a lot of movement in various topics. Is this effective with all the changes July 1 or when ratified?
Yes, it will be retroactive to the start of the new fiscal year
Thank you.
and the start of this agreement.
And that, if there's no other questions, we'll open this up for a public hearing. Anyone like to come forward or on the line for a public hearing on this item? If you are on the line, 702-589-9629. That's 702-589-9629. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone like to come forward at this time, use the microphone here in chambers. You're welcome to do so. If not, we'll wait a little bit. 702-589-9629. This is a public hearing on the collective bargaining agreement with the Teamsters Local 14 Clerical Bargaining Unit. No one on the phone line. That leads us to the resolution number 8085 for approval. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 8085.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Thank you. We'll move to item 15, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you. This item is a collective bargaining agreement. Excuse me. This item is a resolution approving an amended and restated collective bargaining agreement between the city and Teamsters Local 14 Fire Captains Bargaining Unit. The collective bargaining agreement for this union, again, Teamsters 14 Fire Captains, expired in June 30th, and the city and the fire captains entered into a new agreement effective August 25. They were the first group in this round of negotiations to conclude their agreement, which we were very pleased to do that. However, during the negotiations, or after the agreement was approved, it was discovered that we had differing interpretations of the reserve program. That's part of Article 1 of the new agreement, and it's regarding how and when reserves are used. And so to clarify that language, the city and the union held additional discussions to settle the disagreement, and we agreed to modify the language as set forth in the amended and restated collective bargaining agreement that's before you tonight. So there's no fiscal impact with this change. It's just a clarification of the language that was there. And so NRS requires that this type of a modified agreement come back to you for approval in a public hearing. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a disclosure.
Okay.
I would like to disclose pursuant to NRS 281A that my son Nigel Walton is a fire captain for Boulder City Fire, and this matter concerns the collective bargaining agreement for the captain's bargaining unit, of which he is a member. Because this is a relationship under Nevada ethics law that would likely impact the judgment of a reasonable person in my situation, I will be abstaining on this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or? So we will open the public hearing on this particular item. If you're calling in, 702-589-9629. If you're here in chambers, welcome to come forward and say whatever you would like to say on this item. We'll wait a little bit and see if we have anyone on the phone line, 702-589-9629. Anyone in chambers likewise can come forward. That's 702-589-9629 for any public hearing, public comment at this time. Anyone on the phone line? We will close the public hearing and move to the resolution number 8086. Do I have a motion?
I move to pass resolution number 8086.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstention. Thank you. And that brings us to item 16, approval of the tentative capital improvement plan for fiscal years 27 through 31.
Hello, Angela Mannanen, Budget Manager. So today we're looking for tentative approval on the 5-year CIP plan. And the reason we look for tentative approval for the CIP is we're about to go into the operating budget. And so having a starting point, knowing what we're going to do with CIP really helps that process. And also occasionally, some capital projects have operating costs. So to know about those costs before we go into the operating budget. So, our 5-year plan has 54 projects with a combined cost of $134.5 million. Fiscal year 27 has 35 projects with a combined cost of $35.1 million. This chart is showing the funding sources for our 5-year plan. It's a total of $134.5 million. 40% of this is coming from the enterprise funds, which is $53.7 million. That's $3 million coming from our airport, $26.6 million coming from our electric fund, $14 million coming from wastewater, and $10 million coming from our water fund. Outside funding is 24% or $32.8 million, and that's $27.2 million coming from the FAA to support our airport, and also $5.6 million coming from RTC to support our streets. The government fund is 19%, or $25 million, and this includes $8.6 million coming from our Acquisitions and Improvements Fund, $12.5 million coming from our Pool Fund, and $3.8 million coming from our Redevelopment Fund. The voter approved is 17%, or $22.5 million, and that's $3.5 million of the annual approved spending from that fund, and also $18.9 million from the sale of Track 350, also known as Liberty Ridge. And then our golf course surcharge funds is less than 1% at $415,000 for equipment at our golf courses. This next chart is just funding sources for fiscal year 27. It's a total of $35.1 million. So the largest portion is governmental at 44% or $15.5 million. This includes $1.8 million coming from acquisitions and improvements, $11.8 from our pool fund, and $1.9 million from our redevelopment fund. This is unusual for our CIP graph where our funding sources are for governmental to be so high, and it's because we have that really large pool project coming up in 27. And so if we were to take out the pool project, it would be 25% for the government funds. The next one is voter approved, is 27% or $9.5 million, and that's the $1 million that is approved annually to spend, and also $8.5 million from the sale of Track 350. And then the enterprise funds is 20% or $6.9 million, which is $140,000 coming from our airport, $5 million coming from our electric fund, $400,000 coming from our wastewater fund, and $1.4 million coming from our water fund. Outside funding is $2.6 million or 8%, and that is $1.2 million coming from FAA to support our airport, and $1.4 coming from RTC to support our streets. And again, this is very unique because of our very large pool project, and so our breakdown is not typical. If we were to take out the pool project, maybe 25% governmental, 7% voter approved, 47% enterprise fund, and 18% outside funding. And that'd be more in the norm on spending. So our governmental funding sources for fiscal year 27 include a transfer from the general fund to acquisitions and improvements of up to $1.5 million. Also, the swimming pool fund resources of $20.3 million include $11.8 million in fund balance from donations, voter approved funding, and investment revenue. It also has that additional $8.5 in voter approved spending from the sale of Track 350. The redevelopment fund will use the resources of $1.9 million to promote businesses in the RDA district. So voter-approved spending in fiscal year 27 will be $9.5 million. And so with the sale of Track 350, also known as Liberty Ridge, it was approved by the voters That 90% will go to the pool and 10% will go to public safety. So in fiscal year '27, $8.5 million will go to the pool from that sale. And then also for fiscal year '27, we have that annual spending of $1 million. So that spending of voter-approved funding of $1 million is for governmental projects, so it's not to be used for utilities or airport. It was approved back in 2015. This year, fiscal year '26, our lease revenue going into voter-approved funding, or voter-approved fund, is $4.6 million. So we're only allowed to spend $1 million. So that fund grows at about $3.6 million annually. So at the end of fiscal year '26, it'll have a fund balance of about $11 million. So another funding source for CIP for fiscal year '27 is our golf course surcharges. So these funds come from a percentage of the green fees. Both Boulder Creek and Municipal Golf Course both have a surcharge fund, and they grow at about $150,000 annually. So Boulder Creek will use this money for about $126,000 to purchase equipment, and Muni Golf Course will use $290,000 to purchase equipment. So our proposed enterprise fund spending for fiscal year '27 hasn't changed since we met back in December. The airport fund will be $140,000. The electric fund will be $5 million. The wastewater fund will be $400,000, and the water fund will be $1.4 million. So our outside funding for fiscal year '27 includes the Regional Transportation Commission of $1.4 million. And again, this supports our roads. And also the Federal Aviation Administration of $1.2 million, which supports our airport. So there's only been one change since we met in December with the CIP, and that includes adding the project of the pavilion at the Boulder Creek Golf Course, of converting the 7,400 square feet canvas pavilion into a 10,000 square feet permanent building that would include restrooms, warming kitchen, and bars. So this project would cost $8.5 million. It would be 100% funded with the redevelopment district funding. So we would use the current funding of $5 million that's in the RDA. And then 2027, it'd be an additional $1.7 million. And then in '28, $750,000. And then in fiscal year '29, when the RDA sunsets, there'd be an additional $1 million. So for a total project cost of $8.5 million. And the 10,000 square foot footprint, we used the the Boulder Dam Credit Union Gala, which is about 400 people. And so that's how we determined that 10,000 square footprint to make sure it could host something like that.
Can I interrupt here,
Yep.
Mayor, and ask a question? Have we talked with our Public Works Department to see if that amount is going to be about the right amount come 2028?
We have a little bit of inflation put into this with our current calculations that they have made, but if the
Okay.
Public Works Director would like to
No,
come up.
thank
but
you.
They have definitely been working on this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. We set aside money today and realize it's not sufficient in 2 years, right? So we want to make sure we don't get caught with that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the timeline for our capital improvement plan. Today's the 13th, and we are looking for tentative approval so we can move forward with our operating budget. The CIP plan could come forth any time before final approval of the budget in May. But if there's no changes, you won't see it again until final budget approval on May 26th. And I know in the packet, there is a PDF of our digital budget book. If you go to our website, bcnv.org/CIP 2027, there's the digital CIP book. It's much more user-friendly and easier to navigate, and if you want to look in deeper into any of the projects or funding sources, it's a great resource. And also, if there's ever any questions on CIP, anyone can email cip@bcnv.org. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Thank you for all that. I think I was keeping up with you. But I do have just a clarification, if you could, between the CIP and the voter approval fund. And you mentioned $11 million. Can you put those three into context?
So the charter states we have to put 20% of all lease revenue into a CIP fund. That CIP fund, we've named it the voter-approved capital improvement fund, so it grows at the $3.6 million annually, and so at the end of this year, it'll be $11 million. We also have an acquisitions and improvement fund, which is our working capital improvement fund, really where all the CIP, governmental CIP projects happen. And then, of course, with the utilities and airport, those would all occur in their own individual funds.
So the 11 million, that would have, any of that money that would be spent from that, is that something that has to go to the voters?
Yes.
Okay.
So none of that money can be spent without voter approval.
Okay. Can you give me an idea of what that, a project that could be used?
So a recent one was the pool. We had 2 questions go out to the voters. One was for $7 million to assist with building the pool, and then there was additional question of up to $9 million. So that's a great project for, we can let those funds build until we have a large project like that.
Okay, thank you.
I want to clarify if I could. I'm sorry, were you going to ask a question?
Right.
No, I will defer. I'm
Okay.
blurted out, sorry.
I just was going to say thank you. Thank you for all the hard work. Great job. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's it. I'm done.
If I may. Sorry, there was a long pause. I thought there was no more. Did I hear you say then that the CIP plan will not be brought in a public meeting again until the approval date in May?
Unless there's any request for changes. As we go through the operating budget, there's always that opportunity, especially if there's a change on any of our projects or a request to change anything. Because also during that, our operating budget will request to make the transfers to pay for the CIP projects. So it won't, maybe not its own individual meeting, but the topic will, there'll be opportunity to make changes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, Mayor.
Mayor, may I also comment on Councilmember Walton's question? What I might offer to this question has come up a couple times. So there are several months between now and then. So what I could offer is in our monthly one-on-one, my monthly one-on-one meetings with you, I can put this as an item and we can talk through those projects again. And then if you have additional things, then I would like to give I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to give the council an opportunity for a more in-depth discussion on those CIP projects. If you would like to do that, we can do that in our meetings.
What he's trying to say is that can happen individually, not as a group, because otherwise we would have to agendize it. And, go ahead.
Though I can ask this in the meeting, I will ask it here. With the pavilion being the new thing that's funded through the RDA monies up to 2029, are we seeing that as the projected completion is 2029? Or are we planning on starting that prior to that? How does that look?
It would depend with RFPs, like the $5 million that would be in fiscal year 26 has not been approved by the RDA board. Like we're asking for tentative approval here, but that would have to be a first step before any of those funding could be spent. And I mean, there's a long process. Like we'd like to have it done by 2029, but there's many things that would have to happen before.
Okay, thank you.
What she's trying to say is we won't get a bathroom there for 3 years.
Oh,
Or conference room?
All right, go ahead. Anyone else?
No, sir.
Mr. City Manager?
Just really quickly, just to clarify so that there's no misunderstanding on the conversation that I just had with you. Yes, I will be happy to speak with you on the CIP projects one-on-one. However, no decisions will be made. So if there are any that sound good, then I can always bring those back to a meeting for a full disclosure to the other council members. But I just wanted to be I wanted to be careful that we were not suggesting that I was going to talk to you about other projects and not have them in a public meeting.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Any other questions? All right. So on that one, do we need anything other than to have a motion to approve the tentative capital improvement plan?
that's it?
I would accept that motion.
Move to approve.
Seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to item 17.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brittany Walker, your city attorney here. Before you this evening, item 17 is a resolution approving an agreement between the City of Boulder City and the law firm of Cox and Wilson for prosecutor services. Since 2005, the city has contracted with private law firms to provide the prosecution services. Mr. Gary Booker was our prosecutor for 18 years and retired in 2023. Our current prosecutor is Thomas Moskal, who has served in this role since June of 23, and he was a chief deputy district attorney for Clark County from August 2014 through 2021. In August of 2025, Mr. Moskal began working with Justin Wilson of Cox and Wilson Law. And as an aside, Mr. Wilson and his partner Shane Cox are here today if there's any questions for them. And they subcontracted with Mr. Moskal to provide prosecution services. Mr. Moskal does wish to terminate his contract to pursue other endeavors. Since the city has been working with Mr. Wilson, who is also an experienced criminal attorney with over 5 years of criminal experience, he also worked for the Clark County DA's office early in his career, and his resume is provided as a handout tonight. He, over the past few months, has worked providing our prosecution services, and in that time has processed 88 cases, resulting in 70 convictions for the city. Mr. Wilson is comfortable in a courtroom and well-versed in criminal procedure, investigation, substantive criminal law, and rules of evidence. Mr. Wilson's partner, Shane Cox, is also available to serve in Mr. Wilson's stead should he be unavailable. Mr. Cox is also an experienced criminal attorney, and it will benefit the city to have the additional support of a law firm to provide these services. The term of the agreement is 2 years and two additional one-year renewal periods. And so before you use this agreement, and I'm available for any questions, and again, Mr. Wilson and Mr. Cox are also here if the council has questions for them.
Any questions of our attorney?
Denise can go first.
Just a clarification, so it's 25 hours basically for the year?
No, a
Or-
week.
A week?
Yes,
That's what I
it's up
meant
to
say, a week.
25 hours a week.
Okay, so insurance and all that kind of stuff is still under the umbrella of Cox and Wilson?
Yes, they provide malpractice insurance for the services.
Okay, thank you.
I would like Mr. Cox and Mr. Wilson to come up forward and introduce themselves. And then I have one question for you each.
Good morning, Justin W. Wilson, Nevada bar number 14646.
Shane Cox, Nevada bar number 13852, for those curious.
Okay, so you're both attorneys and going to work for us. What is your best attribute as an attorney?
As an attorney,
And
I think
not
it's-
real long, just real quick.
I think it's the same as me individually, tenacity. I don't really give up on anything. If I set a goal, I get it.
Okay, thank you.
You're
And you, sir?
We're a good pair because I'm more thoughtful and want to analyze things a little bit longer. Justin is tenacious, I can say that, and so we balance each other out that way.
Great answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions of the two?
Perfect.
I can't resist, so what is your worst asset?
Oh, man.
Take the fifth.
Okay, I
Maybe it's
retract
kinda the
that
same.
question.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. I think.
Thank you for hesitating. Appreciate it. Any other questions that are pertinent, I'll call them. If not, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. And so that brings us up to us, and the resolution of 8087. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 8087.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And is there discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. And then that brings us to item 18, matters pertaining to the 2026 elections.
Yes, thank you. The first matter before you is resolution number 8088. This is declaring a municipal primary election will be held on the 9th day of June, 2026, and a municipal general election will be held on the 3rd day of November, 2026 in Boulder City. And as a point of reference, we do have to legally notice this prior to February 15th. This has already been done by the Clark County Election Department on behalf of the municipalities. It's attached and included in the packet. And just for the sake of anybody watching, candidate filing fees are set at $25, and our filing hours will be Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., beginning March 2nd through March 13th, and Fridays by appointment. And so I would ask the council to please approve resolution number 8088.
Any questions? I'll accept a motion.
Move to approve 8088.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. It's unanimous. Thank you.
The second matter is per City Council Rules, Section 3.1, the council can make a motion to reschedule a regularly scheduled council meeting. And this year, Tuesday, June 9th, which would be a regular meeting, is also the primary election day. So I am requesting that a motion be made to move the council meeting to June 8th, 2026.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve rescheduling as indicated on the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that brings us to number 19, appointment of the Mayor Pro Tem.
Can I nominate Sherry Jorgensen?
Can I second it?
Moved and seconded to nominate Sherry Jorgensen, who's our current Mayor Pro Tem. Is there any other nomination, or can I just say all those in favor? All those
Aye.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I'm glad there's nobody opposed. It's so done unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Jorgensen. For those of you who haven't noticed, she keeps me straight, or at least tries to. So I appreciate what you do. Thank you. That brings us to number 20.
Yes, so this matter is an appointment to the Southern Nevada Council of Governments. A couple months back, the council approved an agreement with them, and the purpose of the Southern Nevada Council of Governments is to cooperatively address regional issues, identify common needs, coordinate government services and responsibilities, engage in comprehensive regional policy planning, and to assist members in the conduct of their affairs. This council is coterminous, which means whoever is appointed and to this particular committee, they will serve on this board for the remaining term of their membership as a council member. And Boulder City has one representative, and that is in their rules for governing board. So one representative of each member whose population is less than 200,000. At this time, the meetings haven't actually been set, but they're waiting until April when this actual board will take effect, and then they'll have a meeting to set up regularly scheduled meetings. So at this time, it's unknown.
Thank you. Is there anyone on council who would like to do this?
Can I nominate Denise?
I'll second it.
So it's been moved and seconded to nominate.
I don't think I could second myself, but,
I will.
You're
if
seconding
no
an
one else.
emotion, yes, you can.
oh, good, okay.
So we will, we have a nomination and a second to nominate Councilwoman Ashurst to that board. Those in favor, is there any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous again. Thank you. And that brings us to number 21. City Council appointments for first Historic Preservation Commission. Madam City Clerk.
Yes, thank you. So the first item on here is the appointment to Historic Preservation. There's two appointments needed. One is to serve a remaining term which expires August 31st, 2027. And then we have a second term which would expire 8/31/2028.
Of the same historic preservation.
Correct, both
So
for
we need two.
two. They would just serve different terms.
Okay.
So we could start out, if you wanted, with the first one, which would be appointing somebody to the term which would expire 8/31/2027.
And so is there a nomination? We have a bunch of people who have been willing to do that. Is there a nomination from that group or any other person that someone would not like to nominate for the first one that will serve until 2027?
I'd like to nominate Don Johnson because he has a bachelor's in city planning and master's in historic preservation and planning. And I thought that speaks to what the lady that was here said today. So I'd like to nominate Don Johnson.
Is there a second?
I have a nominee.
Pardon?
Could I put another name in the hat?
Is there a second to the nomination?
We don't need a second. If nominations are open, we can wait until all of the nominations are.
So yes, you can nominate another person.
Okay, I'd like to nominate Bren DeLormeyer for the 2 year, I think it's a year, you said, or carry out the last until 2027?
Correct.
So we have two nominations, Don Johnson and Brenda Laurier. Is there any other nomination?
John David Hancock.
Pardon?
John David Hancock. I'm nominating him.
All for the same one?
And so we have three nominations for that particular position that goes until 2027. And now you'll talk me through how I do that.
If no other nominations are offered, you can just close the nominations, and then you'll have to take a vote on each of the three members,
Okay.
remembering that you can only vote once.
So if there are no other nominations, we'll close the nominations for that. And we will now vote for, in order, those in favor of Don Johnson, and we can only vote once.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so that is three. We used to call that a majority. Can I say then it's done? Because we can only vote once, right?
You can if it's a majority, yes.
So we'll close that. Don Johnson has thus been duly elected. And then we'll open the nominations for, what's the other one, Till? Or the
2028.
2028. And so we would have nominations open for someone to serve until 2028. Is there any nomination for that?
I'd like to nominate David Engelman. He's an anthropologist, and I think that, again, adds experience of aging for the Historic Committee.
Okay. Are there other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Norma Valley.
Any other nominations?
And I'll nominate Dave Hancock again.
And are there any other nominations? We have three nominations, and in order to do that, we'll, all those in favor of Engelman, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of Norma Valley, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's two. And all those in favor of Dave Hancock, say aye.
Aye.
That is two.
Yeah, so they're.
Got to do it over again.
We have a tie between Norma Valley and Dave Hancock, and we will do this again. All those, I'll take in reverse order. Dave Hancock. All those in favor of Dave Hancock say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Although
Oh, that was enough.
I have Booth and Walton. Did somebody else say aye?
I did.
I did.
Yeah.
And I did too.
So we had
Yeah.
four say for Dave Hancock, and that is resolved that he is nominated, and he will serve till the 28 timeframe. And then that brings us to the Regional Flood District's Citizen Advisory Committee. Do we have a flood person?
There's one person, and he currently serves on the board, Jason Gross, and it's been requested by the board that he remain on it. He's a contributing member to their board, and we have no other applications.
So is somebody nominating Jason?
I nominate Jason Gross.
And is any other nominations? If there are no other nominations, then it's de facto. So he has been reappointed.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the city manager's report. Or somebody's.
Item 22.
Yeah. What's the city manager's report on there?
Oh, it does say city manager's report, so there's multiple city managers' reports on this one.
I'm going to round us out with reports.
I can only read 3 words at a time.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'm City Manager Ned Thomas. Item number 22, agenda item 22, is noted in the agenda, is my report as City Manager on the non-binding fact finders report, including findings and recommendations and associated fiscal impacts related to the collective bargaining agreement or collective bargaining negotiations, and then impasse between the city and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 5073. This report to you is required under NRS 288.200 subsection 8. As noted in the staff report, just a little bit of background, the collective bargaining agreement between the city and IAFF Local 5073 expired on June 30th, 2025. The parties, unfortunately, were unable to negotiate a successor agreement, and we mutually agreed to go to non-binding fact-finding to seek an independent review, third-party input on resolving the areas of disagreement. And we received this fact finder's report on December 23rd, 2025. Under NRS 288, the City Council must hold a public meeting and within 45 days of receiving that report. So we're here before you tonight to present the report, and that would include a discussion of 3 different items. First item is what are the issues of disagreement and between the 2 parties. The second item is a report of the findings and the recommendations of the fact finder. And then third, the overall fiscal impact of the findings and the recommendation. But in talking about those, the fiscal impact, the council, the statute does not allow the council to discuss additional details about the report in relation to fiscal. It's a little bit confusing, but essentially I'm here to provide you with, these were the issues that we talked about. These are the recommendations and findings of the fact finder, and these are the fiscal impacts. So I'll go through each one of those in just a little bit of detail. So first item, the issues submitted to the arbitrator. First one was regarding wage increases. The second one was related to pay for what is called a preceptor or mentor pay. This is when one of our full-time firefighters steps in or is given an additional assignment to mentor one of the junior or cadet firefighters. I don't know if that's exactly the correct term. And then third, what type of it revolved around incentive pay for both hazmat, additional certifications that the firefighters receive for hazardous materials training, as well as what is called a technical rescue training certification. And I'll talk about each of those in just a moment. So those were the 3 issues. And now the next part, I'll tell you about the findings and the recommendation of the fact finder. Under wage increases, in addition to the wage itself, there were some issues around the term of the agreement, how many years would the agreement be for, and also retroactivity. So we're past the time when the old collective bargaining agreement expired. We're into the new one, but we haven't reached an agreement. So when will the new terms start? So on that regard, the fact finder found that a term of 3 years as proposed by the city would be appropriate. So the fact finder's recommendation that we consider, again, non-binding fact finding, but we would consider 3 years. The new agreement then would be effective from July 31st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. On the next item related to wages themselves, in year one, there would be a wage increase of 4.375%. In year two and in year three, any wage increase would be based upon the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. And but we would, the proposal included both a floor and a ceiling, or a minimum COLA and a maximum COLA. And the minimum would be 2.25%. So if it happened that we had a very low CPI that year, it was only 1.6, they would be guaranteed at least 2.25%. Likewise, like in the past year, if there was a very large increase in the CPI, it would be capped at 3.25%. And that would be for year 2 and 3. So there would be a wage increase in both of those, but this gives us the boundaries in which that increase would fall. With regard to retroactivity, the fact finder recommended, as proposed by the IAFF, that it be retroactive to July 1st, 2025. So the beginning of the contract, the new contract retroactivity. And then with regard to preceptor and mentor compensation, the fact finder recommended it to be $50 per shift for the duration of the assignment. And again, that would be effective during the term of this agreement. So $50 per shift if you're serving as a mentor. And then finally, with regard to the incentive pay that I mentioned related to hazardous additional certifications for handling or addressing emergencies related to hazardous materials and technical rescue training, fact finder recommended that the employees who have obtained and maintained certification in hazardous material technician and, so they had to do these together, a technical rescue certification related to vehicle and machinery technician, that would be paid an additional 2% above their hourly rate. And then in addition to that, there are 3 other types of technical rescue certification. Those are swift water rescue, high-low angle rope rescue, and wilderness rescue. All of those which are appropriate to our geography here and the special needs of Boulder City. And so if the fact finder recommended that if the employees receive any of those additional certifications, that in addition to the 2% for hazmat and vehicle machinery rescue, they would receive an additional 1% for up to three other TRT, or technical rescue certifications, for a total of 5%. A potential total of 5%. And then finally, the third item, the fiscal impact of this for the overall 3-year contract would be $1,483,843.49. That would be total in both wages and benefits based on the conditions that I just described to you with regard to wage increases and hazmat and the other special compensations for mentoring or preceptor pay. So again, my report and the structure of that, the information I've shared with you is outlined or given in the NRS. I'm happy, and so this is more of an information for the council of how the fact-finding process worked, what the results were, and I'm happy to answer any questions. However, no action is needed on this item.
So the fact finder, we know what it is. We know what it is now. It's up to you or the team to figure out if they want to just accept this or go forward with looking at some other option.
That's correct. It came back, non-binding fact-finding, and it came back to us, and that gives us now a framework to continue the negotiations, which we will do.
And you're not looking for us to say anything?
No, just answer any questions you might have. Or it's for a discussion among the council if you have discussion among yourselves as well.
So do we have discussion? Okay. I don't hear anybody saying he wants to, or she wants to say anything.
I will add, I think it's because I always like to share positive information without going into a lot of detail. This has been very helpful to us, and we appreciate the work of both the fact finder and the response from the IFF members, and we look forward to hopefully concluding a fair and reasonable solution with a bargaining agreement with them very soon.
So unless we
Always our
say
goal.
otherwise, this is the kind of thing that you will present to the other party.
Correct. Yeah.
Any other things that I need to say or do?
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to the city manager's report.
Should have just stayed up there, I guess. Yeah.
I can do 3 words again.
Yeah, the first one is the report, claims paid report. This is available online, and there is nothing unusual in the report.
And any questions? And that brings us to number 24, city manager's report.
And also the same for this, it's the monthly financial report. You will notice on the agenda, it's unaudited. Tonight, you received the full audited report. Once we close the books next year, we'll audit, but on a monthly basis, we provide that report to the council and to the public in an unaudited form.
Any questions? Seeing none, that will bring us to public comment. Open up public comment. Anyone here in chambers? Welcome to come forward. And is there anyone on the line? If there are, come at 702-589-9629. Go ahead.
Good evening again, council, mayor, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Just kind of furthering my comment from earlier in regards to the HPC committee, I just kind of want to hit it over the head with a hammer again, that unfortunately, the committee members that now make up the new committee still don't represent even 50% being seated at the historic table from either a resident or ownership standard. And I really kind of feel like I've been up here over the last couple of years advocating that committee be made up of at least 50% voting members that actually represent the historic district. And I think it's, while I can, Dave is an incredible asset to the historic district, living at the fringe and in a very historic home. I still feel like we're really falling short on representing your constituents that actually make up the historic district in such a capacity, and that their voices are heard. I mean, the committee and this council continue to form, obviously, opinions and designations and plans for what the historic district is and should be and how to preserve it. And yet there still isn't 2 voting members on the committee that are part of that decision making. So I just want to remind you guys and the rest of everybody who's watching that should really be something that you guys should be trying to achieve, and bring a little more of the voice of the actual historic district to the historic committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If anyone's going to call in, 702-589-9629, and if no one's calling in, we'll still invite other people to come up if they'd like to say something in the public comment, which is open to anything. We had somebody earlier who was here but didn't get the chance, so we're going to wait a little longer, see if he can call in at 702-589-9629. There is a little bit of a delay, so we'll continue to wait. 702-589-9629. 702-589-9629, and this public comment can be about anything. Doesn't have to be related to the things that are on the agenda. 702-589-9629. And that phone number is picked up by our city clerk and then is broadcast to the chambers. So we all would hear it, 702-589-9629. No one on the phone. Seeing no one on the phone and no one here in chambers, we will close public comment and go to City Council's report. And we'll start at my far right. Councilman Walton.
Thank you. On the Convention and Visitors Authority front, there's been a massive renovation at the Convention and Visitors Authority over the last few years, and it was completed and ribbons cut just in time for the largest, or one of certainly the largest conventions we have here, CES, Consumer Electronics Show. And so the product, the renovations turned out fantastic and high marks from attendees, and it really continues to place Las Vegas as a premier destination for leisure, sports, and conventions. And of course, CES was here recently and very successful. That's all I have there. And then as far as the Water Authority report, by mid-February, the states are supposed to get together and come up with a new plan, the basin states, and there's really not been any reported progress in that. So the federal government has said if you don't come to an agreement, now they have pushed off the time frame for that a couple of times already. We don't know if they'll hold to this middle of February firmly or loosely, but in any case, we expect there will likely be requests for additional cuts amongst all of the basin states. Nevada receives roughly 2% of the entire allocation of the Colorado River flow. And of our 2%, now I'm going to switch to a fraction now, we consumed or are expecting to consume 2/3 of our allocation. So we have a cushion. It's not a large cushion, but we expect to be able to continue to survive and thrive if and when additional cuts might be made to the larger picture. We are part of the lower basin states, and Arizona and Mexico, not a basin state, but certainly a participant and a partner in the Colorado River decisions. Between their cuts and our cuts, there's going to be roughly 630,000 acre feet. Now, that's double of what our entire allocation is. So that indicates Arizona and Mexico are going to cut a whole lot more than we already are, which is 21,000 acre feet off of our 300,000. So anyway, the bottom line is we're still operating with high return flow credits, which allows us to draw out more than our actual allocation. But since we're returning it, we can continue to keep that closed loop cycle, and our actual consumption is still only about 2/3 of our allocation. So that's my report. Thanks.
You, appreciate it.
I really have nothing to report. My Clark County Debt Management canceled because they trying to get into the new year. So hopefully next month.
I just wanted to thank Boulder City. Basically, every year you make a New Year's resolution, and I've never kept one yet. But I feel so blessed living here in Boulder City, and I just want to reach out and say how thankful I am that I have a small business that's all family, And I have wonderful friends in Boulder City and everybody on the city council. It's been great. And the staff down here, I feel like they're family to me. So I am so blessed to be in Boulder City, and I'm just looking forward to working with everybody, and especially everybody in Boulder City, and how I appreciate them and appreciate all you guys. Thank you. That's what I had to report.
So most of Americans were tuned in today to the Supreme Court hearing, which is the highest court in the land. And I'd like to point out that the same integrity and desire for right to be done, I believe, is on this dais. We can't compare, obviously, to the Supreme Court, but we try to strive for the truth in what we do and to get a fair and equitable decision in everything that we do. And I know I speak for myself and the other 4 members. It's always my honor to serve in any capacity that I find myself in, especially here in Boulder City. But specifically, I want to thank everyone for selecting me as the Southern Nevada Council of Government representative for Boulder City. I think that's really important. I'm also on the Civilian Military Council Executive Committee, and this year, Boulder City, we are the elected chairs for that committee. We meet quarterly, and we talk about different issues with the military and military families. I'm also on the Nevada League of Cities. And so these are 3 boards that have a lot of input and a lot of say-so. Even though we're small, we give our input from Boulder City, and we have a seat at the table to make a difference in Southern Nevada, all of Nevada, I would say. So I just want to thank you again for electing me for the COG, and I look forward always with the Military Council. It's my goal to lean into current and future pressing issues that will be addressed with the military, and civilian communities, like attainable housing, drone incursions. The military has somewhat of a see-click fix, like we have see something, say something. They have a lot of drone incursions. Those are, the drones are mostly the recreational ones that people use, but they're asking our help for that. Obviously, we know AI and data centers are on the docket of everyone in government across the nation, so we'll be talking about things like that. And if there's any questions or issues on these boards or any local issues, please reach out to me. I'm available. I also want to remind everyone that, talk about historic preservation, that Boulder City's Historic Preservation Pop-Up Ask the Expert meeting is on January 20th. Good opportunity to meet with the residents that live in that area and their concerns. I know there may not be that proportion of representative on the commission, but I hope they have these maybe quarterly meetings so that at least the voices can be heard. And so everybody who's going to be involved in that or who can make it on January 20th at 1 o'clock, please show up. And I just want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. We have an exciting 2026 that's coming our way, and I hope we enjoy it.
Thank you. I will say that this is the season where we have the state of the city, the state of the county, the state of the school district, state of the union, the state of, and our team on our city council. I'm so impressed with everything that you all do and how you are so involved in so many different ways, not just with the city of Boulder City, but everywhere you go. We truly have a wonderful team here. And recognizing that the state of our city, the state of Boulder City address is more than an address, and it will be happening on Thursday, this Thursday the 15th, 3 o'clock start mingling, and 4 o'clock have the actual State of the City happen. In as much as we have a theme of a team, which is what we are, I thought, so how do you identify yourself as a team? Councilwoman Booth refuses to wear a T-shirt, so we'll have to do it with hats, but she refuses that too. So she's part of the team no matter what, beautiful things that she wears. But I would be curious of how many people are going to come to the State of the City with their favorite team hat.
Sports?
And we could have a good time with this. So the State of the City will be at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, actually starting the address. And all of these people on City Council are actually now TV stars. I've viewed their presentations, and they're wonderful. And I think people are going to enjoy the State of the City. You get a little feel for how we do it here, but this will actually be fun, and we'll enjoy having everybody here. So I have nothing else to report. If no one else has anything, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.
Who was the second person that we nominated for the?
Tammy, I sent you mine.
Okay.